back. It's been a while. Took a few weeks off. Had to go do a bunch of stuff, and so now we're back. Hey everyone, my name is Derek, and I am a Dildo-smith. I'm the creator of Amavidi, and I make dildos every day. I'm here to do the weekly AMA Ask Me Anything. This is Ask a Dildo-smith, where I answer your questions about all things relating to dildos, lubes, dildo making, or anything else that might come up. It's taking me a while to get back to this. Get used to it. It's just... I'm kind of lost. So, yeah. Took a few weeks off. Something around 6 weeks probably. But we ended up needing to do that so that we could get the studio moved. And we are finally back we're finally back into production. We got the studio moved a couple of weeks ago, and it's taken us a couple of weeks to actually get everything in place so that we can, make the things that we make. I think I've done some videos on TikTok and Twitter and things like that, so might go check some of those out. I think George will throw a link into the Twitter, and for TikTok, just search for Amavidi and you'll find it. That's Amavidi. What else has been going on? We got the studio moved, back in production. We've got a couple of projects in the background that could be really interesting, so we'll see how those go. I keep getting lost. I had like a whole topic and everything. I think I was going to talk about silicone. Just kind of ease my way back into it. Just let's talk about silicone for a bit, and we'll just explore the things that make silicone so great. So yeah, I would be remiss if I never mentioned my website, where you can find all of our toys and such. That would be www.amavidi.com. That's amavidi.com, or amavidi.etsy.com. Now, having said that, we are going to be moving the vast majority of our products off of Etsy and onto the amavidi.com website. And there are several reasons. I've talked about them in the episodes where I talked about why you should and shouldn't use Etsy. But we're going to have a few things left on Etsy, but the vast majority of everything is going to end up on the amavidi.com website. And let's see, what else? I keep thinking there's something else I was going to say. What's that? 1921. Oh, yeah. One of the other things that has been a distraction lately is I live in Tulsa, and you may or may not have heard about what happened back in 1921. We had the centennial anniversary of the Tulsa Race Massacre, and yeah, that's been keeping us quite busy. George has a couple of shows that she's working on that all involve something to do with the events of 1921. But also, I live downtown, and I literally live maybe 10 blocks from Greenwood. Greenwood was the street that's often referred to as Black Wall Street. But Greenwood Avenue is maybe 10 blocks away. And so we've been in the thick of it for about the last 3 or 4 weeks. So yeah, but we survived it. Nothing untoward happened. We did have President Biden did come in town and spoke about 1921. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if, honestly, I have no idea if anybody's out there tonight because didn't announce it, didn't really throw anything out there on social media about it. I just wanted to get back in the saddle and remind myself how to do this. There's so many moving parts to this that, well, it's a mess if I let it be. So let's talk about silicone. And why do we use silicone for our toys? Oh, I remember what it was. Rolling back. Clubhouse. We are on Clubhouse now, as well as YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, Twitch, basically covering all the platforms. And one of the interesting things that about Clubhouse is I may be able to bring people on and let them chat. So that could be interesting. But Clubhouse is really, really private right now. So yeah, we'll see. All right, back to the topic at hand. So why do we use silicone? It is one of the best materials for sex toys that you can find out there. It has a lot of things going for it, very few drawbacks, if any. It's very easy to work with and things like that. So, number one, it is hypoallergenic. There's no latex in it, so there's really nothing to be allergic to in it. It's completely inert. There's just nothing to be allergic to. Now, whatever lubes you might use could be a totally different story, but wow, that's a choice you're going to make. One of the other things about it is that it can be sanitized and or sterilized. And that means that if you share toys or if you want to pass your toys on the secondary market, you can. All you got to do is boil it or use some bleach water. You can even just throw it in the dishwasher. Really, there's not a whole lot you can do to silicone to really damage it. Let's see. Oh, rinse well. If you're going to use bleach water or anything like that, then make sure that you rinse well. Yeah. Boiling and dishwasher, just be safe. It's those get kind of hot sometimes. Use tongs. It's also safe with most lubes that you might want to use, whether it's water-based or oil-based. A lot of times you can use a silicone hybrid. I would recommend testing it on the base to make sure there's not any kind of reaction. If you have a silicone hybrid lube, then put it on the base, and if you feel it get raised or if you feel it get kind of gooey, then don't use it. Switch over to either a water-based or an oil-based lube. One of the other things, this kind of goes along with the lube topic, but not to get too into the details on it, but silicone is hydrophobic, which means that it does not absorb water, and water will bead off of it, and basically it will not hold on to water at all. Now, one of the awesome things about that is that most of your bad things, your bacteria, your molds, your general nasties, need water. And so if you've got something that is hydrophobic, doesn't absorb water, doesn't give them any water, then your nasties are generally not going to be a problem, as long as you keep up with your normal cleaning regimen. Boiling's a good one. I actually really like that one, although I do tend to use a dishwasher. It's just so easy. Tonight's beverage is pink lemonade. Yeah. Silicone is also oleophilic, which means that it likes oils. Now, what that ends up meaning is that it can absorb a little bit of oil, and oils will stick to the surface very nicely, which can be really good for a lube. But when you're trying to clean up afterward, then maybe you might have to use some soap on that. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to type them into the chat or send me a direct message on Twitter. And if you're on Clubhouse, then you can just raise your hand and we'll come back around and get those questions answered. One of the other things comes in a variety of firmnesses. So you can have anything from like a super squishy 0030 to something super hard like a A40, and you can have virtually anything in between. So it makes it really flexible, and it makes it real easy to find the perfect match for the toy that you're making. And I was going to go down a rabbit hole there about choosing firmnesses, but that's a whole other topic. We can talk about that sometime. But any firmness that you might want, you can make it. Also, it's a really good carrier for colors, and by that I mean that virtually any of the pigments that you might want to use show up really nicely on silicone. It has a very neutral color, and so it doesn't have a tendency to overpower or tint your colors at all. Now, I want to kind of dive off into a little bit different direction about some of the not necessarily a caution about silicone toys, but some clarification about silicone and what you need to know about the silicones that you can end up running into. Now, first off, you want to make sure that whatever toy you're getting is made of platinum pure silicone, and that way it's going to be completely body safe. If it is a tin cured silicone or a peroxide cured silicone, neither of those are body safe. Tin cure tends to release alcohols while it's curing, and so it can weep those after it's fully cured. Peroxide cure, again, it's just not body safe. Now, just because something says that it's silicone doesn't necessarily mean that it is. And this is one of the things about the silicone toy market and the indie toy market, is that there really isn't any government oversight or regulation. So what that means is that you can put pretty much anything on the box. And you can say just about anything you want about the materials. So if it says silicone, just make sure, get in touch with the manufacturer. It's one of the great things about the indie toy makers is that we're all kind of watching over each other and making sure that we're all on the same page, and that nobody is doing anything that might be dangerous to themselves or anybody else. So, one of the reasons why there's no government oversight is that as long as you're not making any medical claims, they fall under the category of novelties. So as long as you don't say something like it treats vaginismus, or I don't know what other claims you might make. But as long as you don't make any medical claims, then the FDA doesn't have any purview to look over what you're doing. Now, sometimes, and this is not very common, especially in the indie toy market, but sometimes on the really inexpensive toys, they will use silicone, but they'll also add in TPR, thermoplastic resins, or TPE, thermoplastic elastomers. And those are, they're not body safe. Generally, they're going to have something like phthalates in them, and that's just going to, it's not a good thing to expose yourself to. Some people find that they don't have any problems with it. Others very quickly have a reaction to it. Can lead to yeast infections and all kinds of things. But the indie toy makers are really good about not using TPR or TPE, and you'll generally run into that at the lower end of the spectrum when you're looking at prices. So, those are my notes. I don't know. Is this one going to be really, really quick? Can be. Anybody have any questions? Let's see. Okay. A couple questions. What sort of testing have you done with lubes and your silicone? I have tried them out with a couple of hybrid lubes, and I haven't seen any problems with the lube reacting with the toys at all. But there are some folks who there are some lubes out there that people have had problems with. And George wants me to show the picture of in the dishwasher. I think I've got one. Take me a little bit to find it. Pretty sure I know where it is. But if there's nobody out there, then it doesn't really matter how long it takes me to find it. There might be people out there. I thought that was back in October, but maybe not. Yeah, if you can find it, then send it to me and I'll pop it up on the screen. But it's going through and trying to find them. I've got so many pictures. It's just so hard to find. I found some of the videos I posted on TikTok. Actually, we had some really good response on TikTok recently. Got one video that has done 1.2 million views, 1.25 million views, something like that. And another one that is at around, I think it's 600,000, 700,000 views, and several in the low six figures. So yeah, we've had some really good response on TikTok. Let's see. What else happened? Oh yeah, I did get shadow banned for a while. They actually took down one of my videos. Actually, they've taken down several of them, but let me see if I can find it. Does this work? There it is. So that is the, well, that's just a load of toys in a dishwasher. But you can throw them in there. Throw them in the top. Actually, I've thrown them in on both the top and bottom rack and had zero problems. Silicone doesn't warp with heat, and it's even if it falls down and hits the heating element, silicone's safe up to about 500 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's really unlikely that you're going to damage it in the dishwasher. But did have several videos taken down from TikTok. And yeah, what's funny is that it's so arbitrary. I have one video that is it's just a pour video. And like I said, it's 1.2 million views at this point. And it's just me pouring silicone into a mold. A few days later, I posted another one exactly like it, just different colors of silicone. And they pulled that. It's just a pour video. So they pulled that one. Also, I can't do any reveals because, well, I guess that's just too suggestive for TikTok. They've deleted all of those anytime I do a reveal. So, but yeah, it's been busy. We're getting back in the swing of it, and I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to be a short one tonight. Any comments from the peanut gallery? I gotta close that. Have you worked with any other materials for dildos yet? I have not. I can't think of anything that I would be able to use, given my my studio as it is, that would be body safe. Could do it in a resin. That's not body safe. So yeah, I really don't have any other materials that I could use. Oh yeah, I did do a double ender, which, let's see, I can go grab that real quick. I'll show you that. I will return in a moment. I totally forgot to turn off my mic. Oh well. So this one is one that I've been experimenting with. Working on doing a double-ended toy, and I do have there's a silicone adhesive that you can use. Got a couple of other ideas on how to do it, but this is one that it's two doughs put together, and yeah, it's pretty flexible. It's kind of pretty. I like that silver. So, also, yes, George, I'm working on penetrables. That's just, it's a lot more complicated than I thought. So that one's kind of slow going at this time. All right. So unless there are any other questions, I'm going to wrap it up here fairly quickly. George, what kind of topics should we come up with? Home offices, yeah. That could be interesting. Yeah. What was the other one I was thinking about? Yeah, we're both kind of wiped. It's just been crazy, so I don't even know. But there are topics we'll figure them out, and we'll go from there. We do also have a Patreon, and George is right there with me, throwing those links up. And yeah, patreon.com/amavidi, and you can support us there. And there's a couple of different levels. That's the word, not layers, levels. There are a couple different levels that you can join us at. Whether it's as small as getting a squishy, or we also have one where we send you a new toy every month. So yeah, there's Patreon. All right. Well then, I'm going to wrap it up, and we'll do this again next week. Thanks for joining me for the train wreck. Bye.